Namaste. Welcome all to this 5th edition of Global Oneness Festival to celebrate Bhagavadpadacharya Shankaracharya's Jayanti every year. I will chant few stanzas constructed by Adi Shankaracharya and one Shanti Part and one stanza constructed by Guru of Adi Shankaracharya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shlokadhena Pravakshyami Yaduktam Granthakotipi Brahma Satyam Jaganmithya Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha Kinjotistava Bhanumana Hanime Ratrau Pradipadikam Syadevam Ravidipa Darshanamidau Kinjotirakhyahime Chakshus Tasya Nimilanadi Samaye Kindhirvyo Darshane Kintatrahamato Bhavan Paramakam Jyotistadasmi Prabho Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Na nirodhor na chotpattir na baddho na cha sadhakaha, na mukshur na mai mukta, yesha paramarthata. Om. Before start of the session, I will introduce Swami Swatmananda, we are fortunate to have him for giving today morning's lecture. Swami Swatmananda is one of the most dynamic leaders of Chinmay Mission, currently posted at Chinmay Mission, South Mumbai. He has completed the Vedanta course from Powai from 1998 to 2000 after his graduation in Commerce and Software Engineering. He has been serving in Chinmay Mission, Mumbai since 2000. He expounds the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta through talks on Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and other texts of Vedanta and Bhakti through camps, meditation, retreats, interactive sessions, and discussions for youths and adults. He has also taken Youth Empowerment Program by EP, which is value-based leadership program for youths who want to serve the nation and the culture, where the youths were trained for 3 months and the youths served the country for 9 months. He is also a playwright and has written and directed 2 theatrical performances. Adarsha, Quest for the Unseen, based on the Saraswati civilization and developed India, was written and directed by him in 2009. Shows the Adarsha have been performed by Chinmay Yuva Kendra Mumbai in Mumbai, Pune, Allahabad and Chennai. Just like that, a play based on Bhagavad Gita in the life of Anand family and how they discover harmony by applying the principles of Gita was written and directed by him in 2015. 4 shows of the play have been performed in Mumbai and Chennai. Over to you, Honorable Swamiji. Namaste.
Thank you, Sanjeev ji. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Shri Tapovana Paramagurave Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om. My salutations to one and all. Very happy to be here in the 5th festival, and Nitinji has been very kind to give this opportunity. So I thank him, the Festival of Oneness, Global Festival of Oneness, and thanking Gita Moksha for this opportunity. I have been doing generally the evening sessions last 2-3 years, and this time we have this morning one. So here we are. We will take up a beautiful verse from Vivek Chudamani, one of the most beautiful, elaborate compositions of Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya ji, where he speaks about ending our superimposition. Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. In this, there are, if you see from verse 27 onwards, there are a series of verses which are on this theme, that how to end the superimposition. We will see what is that ending of the superimposition. But about 10 verses. Each verse ends with this line, Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. We will take the first verse. Don't worry, all the 10 we can't cover also in this first one. So there was one man, he was a farmer, and in a village, they have a tradition that when the whole day's work is over, they don't have any of these movies and discos and all that. They have a nice open air theater. So they have a stage and people come, they have some nice cultural program every evening, and that's how they entertain themselves. So this farmer, he finished his work, he had his food, and he rolled up a mat, tucked it below his arms, and he went to the place where the performance has to happen. He found that he has reached about 15-20 minutes earlier. So he thought, let me have a quick nap. So he spread his mat, went to sleep for a short while. But when he woke up, he saw that the entire play was over. So again he rolled his mat, tucked it below his arms, and he came back. This story is a very simple one, but many times this is what happens to us in life. If we reflect on this story, that what is the import? What do we derive out of this? An entire lifetime can pass without ever being awake. The whole drama of life, in this story, he was asleep, and the drama unfolded, everything got over, and he was still asleep. In our life, the situation is we are a part of the drama actually. And the whole drama is going on around us. We are a part of it also in this samsara, doing our duties, doing many things, yet one is asleep. Lifetimes after lifetimes have passed, not being aware. See, that is in some people, they have this, the disease that is called somnambulism, that is sleepwalking. So one will walk in sleep, one will go sit somewhere and even eat something, do something, or even, have some conversation, but they will not know anything. Next morning, if you ask them, no idea what is it. So like that, we all are somnambulists. Samsara, it is going on. We are asleep in the sense, one is asleep to the self. One does not know the true nature of the self, that I am that Sachidananda Swarup, Parabrahma Tattva. I am not this. This is only a role. The reality is something else. That is why the Upanishads say, Uttisthata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran, Nibodhata. Arise, awake, go to the teachers and learn. It is said to somebody who is awake. So it is not obviously talking about physical sleep, but it's talking about being awake to the true nature of the self. And Acharya, Bhagavadpadacharya, Shankaracharya ji, he spent his whole life to awaken, to make people aware that our nature is the pure consciousness. We are not this finite body. This false notion, he defines it in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya. Adhyasa is defined as atasmin stad buddhi. In that which is the not self, I am having the understanding of the self. Anatma, body, mind, intellect, samsara, all this vasanas, ahankar, all that entire field, kshetra, is anatma, that I am thinking is me. Anatmani atma buddhihi and jagati satya buddhihi. That which is anatma, in that I have atman buddhi, that I am this, and what is atma is not known. That's why one is asleep to that. And the world appears real, because if I am this, then whatever I perceive through this entity, I see that as real. So these two are the source of our sorrow actually. This is called adhyasa. And Shankaracharya is very clear. Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru is the beautiful shloka, the last line. The whole shloka is Swatmanye vasada sthitva mano nashyati yoginaha vasananam kshayaschataha swadhyasa apanayam kuru. Verse number 277 in Vivek Chudamani. So, Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. Sva-adhyaasa, that which is my own superimposition. Only one who has destroyed their superimposition is awake. And it is superimposition done by us, by ourselves. It is not something else. And so only we have to negate it. Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. You negate it, drop it. Now how to drop? So the first three lines speak about that. That false notion that I have, that I am this body, mind and intellect, I don't know about it, and I don't know about the self, and I think I am this jivatma. So there is an ignorance of the self. Avidya. The root cause of all sorrow and suffering is that avidya. That avidya has to be destroyed by knowledge, atmajnana. Because of that avidya, there is a false notion that I am the body, mind and intellect. And when I feel I am this body, mind and intellect, then there is a sense of incompleteness. When there is incompleteness, because body, mind, intellect by itself is incomplete, whenever I identify with it, then I feel incomplete. In deep sleep, I am not identified with body, mind, intellect, so I don't feel incomplete. Of course, avidya is there in that, but the whole body, mind, intellect one is not aware of it. And so there is no feeling of incompleteness, and that's why everybody feels so blissful in deep sleep. The deep sleep of a king and of a beggar will be the same, because there is no sense of identification with the finite body, mind, intellect. So one doesn't feel incomplete. If I don't feel incomplete and I'm closest to the self in that state, there is experience of absence of all agitations, which we then also say is a state of happiness. When I feel incomplete, when I identify with the body, mind, intellect, then to feel complete, because my nature is Purnatvam, I don't know it. Whenever anything comes out of its nature, it will attempt to go back to the nature. So if there is water which has been frozen and it has become ice, the moment those conditions are removed, it will again go back to water. So anything that goes out of its nature will strive to come back to its nature. And so we find that we seek Purnatvam, but because we feel Apurna identified with this and we think the world is real, then the mind gets extrovert. So there are vasanas based on our three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, and based on that each one has desires to fulfill one desire. There are many thoughts. Like that, there are so many desires. So many desires, many thoughts. Thoughts leads to action. Action leads to karma phala, the result. The result further strengthens the vasanas. This cycle of karma goes on and on and on. And to fulfill this cycle of karma, there is punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. So each one of us is on a tricycle, 3 cycles. Avidya, false identification, incompleteness. That is one tire. That leads to the second one, which is vasana, desire, thought, action, result, vasana. And that leads to the third one, cycle of birth, life, death, repeat. So 3 cycles one is going on, continuously. If one wants to get out of this saying, enough I have had, that person is a mumukshu, that I have seen all the entire thing. Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedamayat na asti akrita kritena. That person has seen not only this world, one has examined and seen through the experiences, gone through power, pleasure, prestige, popularity, seen through all that and understood it is limited, no matter how great it is. It is not fulfilling that having gained which nothing more remains to be gained. Our great rishis came to understand that there is that state of Purnatvam, experiencing which there is nothing more to be gained. And anything we attain in the world, there will still be something which is to be attained. There will be emptiness. One feels I am this jiva. There is fear, there is sorrow, there is attachment, there is pain. And however pleasurable something may be, it is going to end. It doesn't last. It is temporary. One who has seen this very carefully, pariksha lokan, karma chitan, this whole world is dynamic, the field of action. Action has a beginning, action has an end, so the result also is limited. It will not last. So I am trying to seek permanent happiness through that which is temporary. It is never possible. That's why they say in the corporate world, they say that in the world of rat race, even if you win, you still remain a rat, always afraid of a cat, hiding below a mat. How much ever we experience, whatever we experience in this world, we still remain finite. And the Upanishad says, Pariksha Lokan, not only this Bhuloka, through study, etc., through one's reflection, through Shastra Praman, one understands ki what all is there in different lokas also. 7 lokas above, 7 lokas below, and all this is one Brahmanda, like that, so many Brahmandas. All that one has understood that no matter where one goes, one will still remain a finite jiva. So that person, nirvedamayat, gets vairagya. Na asti akrita kritena. Permanent happiness is not possible through any amount of action. Chitta Shuddhi alone. In Vivek Chudamani only, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says that. Chittasya Shuddhaye karma natu vastu palabdhaye. Vastu siddhir vicharena nakinchit koti karma bihi. So Chittasya Shuddhaye karma. Through work, we can purify the mind, which is important. That will come in this shloka, it will come. So purification of mind is important, but it will not by itself lead to mukti. And purification of mind also karma will lead to only when it is done with that right attitude of karma yoga. Otherwise karma will bind. It will create that cycle of birth and death, it will feed that cycle. And hence, it is very important to understand that Vastu Siddhir Vicharena, it will happen only through right contemplation, and that is why the student goes to the teacher. Nirvedamayat nastya krita kritena. Tad vijnanartham sagurumevavi gachet. To know that supreme state of Purnatvam, one goes to the teacher. And who is that teacher? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham, who is well established in the supreme truth, Brahmanishtha, and Shrotriya, who has the knowledge of the scriptures, has the clarity, and imparts that knowledge to the student. And hence we find that if one wants to end this superimposition, Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. Who will do the ending of superimposition? One who has this type of a vairagya, who knows that this false identification I have to destroy. I don't have to destroy, I don't have to stop, doing my work or my duties or anything. If one has that much vairagya that one is able to live and attain this, seek this full time, that's a different matter that very few are able to do actually. But that does not mean that others cannot seek this in and through the roles and responsibilities that we have. The focus, if it remains, I am here to end the superimposition. And if that is clear, so that person goes to the teacher, seeks the knowledge, who has that vairagya, that yes, my purpose here is end the superimposition. This false notion that I am this, I want to know who am I? What is the truth? What is the nature of that reality? And hence that person will attempt this Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. That I want to destroy this superimposition, destroy this avidya, because that is the cause. Everything comes after that. And that's why there's the most powerful is knowledge. In Atmabodh, Shankaracharya ji gives that beautiful example that light is opposed to darkness, not any amount of action. Swami Chinmayananda, he used to give us this beautiful example, analogy based on this shloka only, that once there was this queen, and this queen was passing by through the forest, and suddenly the queen saw that there are a lot of people, working in a cave, and they were, making various sounds, and they're working very hard. So then she went, that what are you all doing here in this cave? So, with a shovel, they are trying to take something and push it out, and they are having some rhythmic chants, and they are helping to do this. And the queen says, there's nothing, what are they trying to take out? So she stopped one of them and said, what is happening here? What are you trying to remove from this cave? So they said that, there is darkness, and we are trying to push out the darkness from this cave. So the queen laughed and she said, what are you trying to do? How can you remove darkness like this? All you need to do is just bring a lamp. Centuries and millenniums of darkness just goes by bringing one lamp inside. And so no amount of karma, how much ever we do, is opposed to avidya. It will not lead to mukti. One who has understood that very clearly, and sometimes one understands that also after going to the teacher. So satsang one starts doing, then all this will even become aware that many times we are aware, not even aware that we are bound. Guru Kripa happens, then satsang comes into our life. In Vivek Chudamani Shankaracharya ji says that Jantunam Narajanma Dudlabhamata Pumstvam Tato Viprata. The whole sequence he gives, Tasmad Vaidika Dharma Marga Parata Vidvatvam Asmat Param Atmanatma Vivechanam Svanubhavo Brahmatmana Samsthitihi Muktirno Shata Janma Koti Sukritai Punyar Vinha Labhyate. Shata Janma Koti. Hundreds of crores of lives also mukti will not come if punya is not done. And without punya, all the rest of the things will not happen. Grace will not get invoked, human body, getting satsang, having that ability to apply that will not happen. So karma has a place, no doubt. But when I do that karma with the right attitude, I generate punya karma, I generate purity of mind, satsang comes into life, then one understands, oh, I am bound. And what is the cause of my bondage? Till now I thought my mom, my spouse, my family, or the relatives, or the world, or the boss, or anybody is the cause of my bondage. But the fact is, my avidya is the cause of my bondage. The root cause is only that. The moment I deviate from the truth, there will be sorrow in life. That's a simple principle. From the absolute level, we have deviated from the truth. That is adhyasa. I've forgotten who am I. Now I'm thinking I'm the BMI. BMI means body, mind, intellect. At intellectual level, if you think the moment I deviate from truth, the values that, universal values, be kind, be compassionate, be truthful, be honest, be forgiving, be fearless, many of these values, the moment we deviate from these, there will be agitation, there will be sorrow, there will be conflict. Mental level, be emotional and be loving, yet be detached. If we don't get anchored in this, either we are very attached or we are absolutely indifferent. Again deviated from the truth. Again there will be sorrow. Verbal level, we don't speak the truth. We tell lies, we hide, we manipulate. Sorrow. So simple principle of life is, moment I deviate from the truth, there will be misery. And one has deviated from the absolute truth, and one is thinking of the untruth as the truth. That is Sva-adhyaasa. Now that has to be ended, so that one needs a teacher. One may study. One person asked Gurudev, Swamiji, why do I need a guru? He was a youngster, in the 80s. One youngster went and asked, and that time his VHS tapes, etc. were there. So he asked that, Swamiji, why do I need a guru? I will listen to VHS tapes and I will have this, I have books, and there are various other mediums, cassettes, audio cassettes were there at that time. So cassette and tape and book and all that is there. Now why do I need a guru? And Gurudev smiled and said, go and ask this to the book. The book can't answer your questions. The book can't even know that you are asleep. The Guru is there. At least the Guru knows you are sleeping in the satsang and can wake you up. The Guru can help to evolve. The many things that the Guru does. Well, what will the books and the VHS tapes, etc. they will do? So one needs the teacher. When one has gone to the teacher, one listens, asks for Atmagyan, Brahma Jignasa. So our whole sequence of evolution to end this superimposition is, from Sakama Karma, we come to Nishkama Karma, Upasana, we worship the Lord, then we cultivate fourfold qualifications, Viveka, discrimination between real and unreal, Vairagya, dispassion from the fruits of results here and hereafter, Shatka Sampatti, Shama, control of the mind, Dhamma, control of the senses, Uparama, withdrawal of the mind, Titiksha, forbearance, Shraddha, faith, and Samadhan, absorption. And fourth is Mumukshutvam, intense desire for liberation. With these qualifications, one goes to the teacher, Guru Upasatti. One approaches, seeks the teacher. Sometimes one develops qualification after meeting the teacher, whichever way it can happen. Shankaracharya went in search of his teacher, all the way from Kaladi to Omkareshwar. If an avatar like him needs a teacher, if Krishna Bhagavan and Ram Bhagavan, they had a teacher, then what to talk about you and me? So teacher is a must. One has to go to the teacher. Seek the knowledge. Brahma Jignasa. One doesn't go to the teacher and ask, worldly things. It may start like that. One builds a relationship sometimes because one is in the world. Please bless me with a child and bless me with some prosperity and some success and all that. It may start sometimes like that. Some sorrow is there, some disease is there. No doubt one wants some parihara, etc. But eventually it has to come to Brahma Jignasa. I want to know Brahman, because that we will know only from the teacher. Then one listens. Shravanam. What is Shravanam? Shravanam nama tatparya avadharanam. Beautiful definition in the Vedanta Sar of Swami Sadanandji. Shravanam Nama Tatparya Avadharanam. Determine what is the essence. And beautifully he has given there Shadvidha Linga, 6 criteria which we can apply to determine what is the essence of this book or this talk or this particular shastra. Very nicely one can apply that. So one will understand, okay, like see, if we ask what is the main message of the Bhagavad Gita, so some people say it is to do the duty, it is to protect dharma, it is to ensure that Pandavas are able to get back their kingdom and all the insult was avenged. But the main purpose of the Bhagavad Gita is moksha. It is a moksha shastra. It is not just a dharma shastra. It is actually a moksha shastra. We apply all the 6 Shadvidha Linga and determine this is the essence. Because sometimes we don't take the essence and we are happy with some smaller benefits or the secondary purposes of that text. What is the purpose of studying the Bhagavad Gita? It is a moksha shastra. To know who am I, Gita is meant for that. It is not only to motivate Arjuna to do his duty so that we also do our duty. Those are preparatory and the secondary results. The main purpose, the main result is mukti. So one goes to the teacher, studies the Veda, understands, the main purpose of Veda is to realize Aham Brahmasmi. So Mahavakya Shravanam one has to do from the teacher. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, Ayam Atma Brahma. These are 4 major Mahavakyas, but so many Mahavakyas are there in the Vedas. And what will these Mahavakyas do? They will help to know who am I truly. They are the words, they are the sentences which indicate the identity of Jiva with Brahman. And hence, Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru can happen when one does Mahavakya Shravanam from the teacher. Acharya Mukhat Shravanam Kuryat. And then the tuning has happened, so one does Guru Seva, etc. for that. Tunes up with the teacher, listens from the teacher, then that knowledge arises. If the mind is ready, instant will be the knowledge. Immediate. Shravanam matrena jnanam bhavati. Instantly. Oh, I am this. One will awaken to that quickly. If it is not, then one has to follow the next step. Then one should do mananam, reflect on it. Then comes nididhyasan. So mananam is yuktibhihi anuchintanam, continuously using logic, scriptural logic, not any logic. Shankaracharya in Sadhana Panchakam beautifully said, Dustarkat suviram yatam shrutimatas tarkonu sandhiyatam. You put aside false logic, perverted logic, and should not go into that. Follow that scriptural logic. That what is the logic given in the scriptures? Drisya Vivek is there, Atmanatma Vivek is there, Panchakosha Vivek is there. Atmanatma is that, Panchakosha Vivek, then Avastha-traya. So many of these, prakriyas are there. Follow that logic. Through that one will understand that yes, I am Brahman, I am not this body, mind, intellect. So that intellectual conviction will come then. Such a person who is intellectually convinced can do steady contemplation, which is advitiya vastuni sajatiya vritti pravaha, that is nididhyasan. Towards that non-dual self, which is my nature, steady contemplation, the thought flow, sajatiya vritti pravaha, same type of thoughts. Mind is not getting distracted, wandering. Because of vasanas it wanders. But all those has been taken care of. So one comes to this state, steadily one is able to contemplate intensely, and the contemplation has the 2 steps. Detach from who I am not, attached to who I am. So this steady contemplation, attach meaning shift the identification from who I am not to who I am. That is ending superimposition. The subtlest thing one can do is nididhyasan. Then of course that will lead to samadhi and it will destroy the dehatma bhav, and ultimately one will be able to destroy this avidya and realize the truth. But the action realm, what we can do in that subtlest karma is nididhyasana, that one can contemplate and using pointers of the self. Suppose, example, Nirvana Shatkam that Shankaracharya ji wrote. 3 lines of negation, 1 line of assertion. Mano buddhi hankara chittani naham nacha shrota jihve nacha ghrana netre nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu. 3 lines. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. Mano buddhi chitta hankar, mind, intellect, memory, ego, I am not. Nacha shrota jihve, I am not the senses and I am not the 5 elements. Then who am I? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That contemplation is what people nowadays call meditation. Meditation actually is the state of realization of the truth. Meditation is not a verb, it is a noun. It can't be done. One can only be in that state. That state of awareness where I'm effortlessly aware of who I am as the Atma. That state is called meditation. Dhyanam nama Swarupasya sahajam bhanam uchyate. Sahaj bhan, effortlessly aware. Like today, how effortlessly one is aware, I'm a human being, I'm a man, I'm a woman. Example, of course, has a limitation, but that effortlessly, one is aware that yes, I am Brahman. Then Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam has happened. This practice that leads to that abidance, Atmanishtha, what we call, here it is said, Swatmani sada sthitva. Swatmani means in one's own self, Sva-atmani. Sthitva, meaning effortlessly abiding in the truth that yes, I am Brahman, I am not this. How liberating is Vedanta to understand that. Then the pain of the body is not my pain. I will still do something for it, but I am not that. I am a witness of it, I can observe it, my nature is something else. Emotions of the mind, thoughts coming in the intellect, these are all things that come and go. I am observer. And the nature of that observer is, Sakshi is Satchidanand. To know myself as I am, not through adjectives. That is the self. That is me. That is what one has to do. And so, Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam, when it is said, negate this through nididhyasan. Nididhyasan means these 2 steps. Swatmani eva sadasthitva. Steady contemplation, one will attain that abidance. And detach from who I am not. So what will happen? Swatmani eva sadasthitva mano nashyati yoginaha. The mind will be destroyed. Swamiji, mind will be destroyed, then how I will work in the world? See, the mind destroyed means what? The mind has a psychological mind, a functional mind. Functional mind will continue. There is no problem with that. The psychological mind, in the sense what we mean is the false identification that we have created. Now that will get destroyed. Mind by itself is not a problem. Body by itself is not a problem. They are not by itself binding us. Because I have avidya, I am thinking I am this, that false identification is binding. See, if Amitabh Bachchan thinks that he is a beggar and he starts living like a beggar, that false notion that he is a beggar is what will create all sorrows. He is forgotten that his nature is, he is a multi-billionaire, he is a great actor, or whatever the achievements he has, all that he has forgotten. Now he thinks, I am a beggar, fully identified with the role that he is playing in some movie, let us say. Now when one is going around begging, one will feel I am a beggar, I don't have money, one will victimize oneself, one will feel the sorrow, one will feel I don't have money to eat also, what kind of a fate it is, how cruel is Bhagavan, there is no God, all that one will think. Why? Because one has identified falsely with this role. The fact is, even at that time, he is the multi-billionaire. He just does not know. So what has to be destroyed? The role of a beggar doesn't have to be destroyed. The body doesn't have to be destroyed. The false notion that he is a beggar, that has to go. When he does that, what will happen? he will realize that, Arey, I was a multi-billionaire, I am a multi-billionaire, I will be that only. There is no question of me being a beggar. Will he not be able to play the role of that beggar also much more effectively? And shift from that and go to some other movie set and take up some other role there and play that also to perfection. Why? Because I know I'm none of these. I'm secure and safe in that knowledge that I'm a multi-billionaire. Same way, Manonasha does not mean that one will become mad, one has lost the mind. One disciple was being trained by a teacher, and this comes in a very nice movie called Peaceful Warrior. This student is an Olympic gymnast. It's a real life story of Dan Millman. There's a movie on that. There's a book on that, and based on that book, the movie has been made. Beautiful movie. It's full of spiritual ideas. So this teacher is training the student, and very unconventional methods he uses, and a lot of spiritual knowledge is there in it. So at one point, the student says, "Are you out of your mind?" He's frustrated. The student is frustrated with the unconventional method of the teacher. He said, "Are you out of the mind?" He said, "Yes. It has taken a lifetime of practice." To go beyond the mind, it has taken a lifetime of practice. So the idea is not that mind will get destroyed. The false notion in the mind that I am this, that will get destroyed. Mano nashyati yoginaha. And when the person comes to that state of absolute stillness, through nididhyasana, one comes to the state of savikalpa samadhi, then nirvikalpa samadhi, and continuous abhyas of nirvikalpa. Nirvikalpa means no thought, no thinker. That identity is dissolved because it was false, it was never real. There in that state, literally Triputi is gone. The thinker, the thought, the thinking is gone. But how long will one be in that state? So long it is there. It is like that. But when one comes out of it, one is perceiving the world. It's not that one is not, but one knows, because one has experienced that I am that infinite consciousness. I am not this body, mind, intellect. The world is not real. Everything has got folded in that state. It was unmanifest, it is dormant, gone. But still I am. That is the truth. This is coming and going. So when one is seeing all this, deep down one knows all this is mithya. Now it is one's experiential knowledge. Actually, we can't even explain the state of jivanmukta. They are indescribable. They live in a plane where there is no duality, and yet you and I see them functioning in the world. That is because we have a BMI and we identify, so we are seeing them. But they are abiding in a higher state even while acting. So manonasha means that where the false notion has gone. So even if one is living in the world as a jivanmukta, as Shankaracharya ji did, or as our Gurudev or Vivekananda ji or Anandamayi Ma, so many great masters, Mirabai, Andal, all of them, they will know very clearly that I am Brahman, I am not this. In fact, the whole universe appears as Brahman only, Sarvam Brahmamayam. And so, manonasha means that Swatmanyeva sada sthitva mano nashyati yoginaha. How will this happen? Sthitva, Swatmanyeva sada sthitva. In the self, one has to abide. That will happen only through steady contemplation. So what people talk today in the name of meditation is very basic, and that is meant for relaxing the body, reduce the BP, reduce cholesterol, and get out of some stress, do some breathing exercises, make the mind quieter, single pointed, increase your immunity, and some efficiency. So meditations for efficiency, meditation for memory, meditation for harmonious relationship, all that goes around. It has its own relevance, nothing wrong about it. But Shastra actually says meditation is the sthiti, it is the avastha of Atmanishtha. The practice that leads to it is contemplation, that is nididhyasana. And the more and more one spends time in turning within, in abiding in the self, in detaching from the BMI, that nididhyasana is a subtlest practice. Not everybody can do it. For that, the mind which is required is that pure mind which we spoke about, that which has cultivated the qualifications, gone to the teacher, studied, reflected, then comes to nididhyasana. Shravan Mana nididhyasana, that's the jnana sadhana. And so, what is that which does not allow me to abide in this? Even when one is trying to do nididhyasana, the mind will sometimes wander. Of course, if the mind has a lot of vasanas, karmic pressure, so it is not able to sit quietly. So one has to do the karma yoga sadhana. And that's why he says third quarter is vasananam kshayaschataha. So vasana kshaya has to happen. Vasananam kshayaschataha. Vasana kshaya, in earlier place in Vivek Chudamani, he says vasana prakshayo moksha. If there is vasana is a technical word in Vedanta. It is impressions, and these vasanas are unmanifest tendencies. So we will never know what vasana we have until it manifests as a desire in the buddhi. Buddhi is that equipment, the subtlest equipment that we have as a human being, which can do this subtle discrimination. What is a self, what is not self, what is dharma, what is adharma, what is temporary, what is permanent, what is means and what is the goal. All that different types of vivek, this buddhi can do. So in that buddhi, the vasana will manifest as a desire. So then there is a desire to eat something, see something, study, meditate, serve, whatever is the vasana, depends on the guna, sattva, rajas and tamas. When that manifests as a desire, then only I know, okay, this is the type of vasana I have. And the more the vasana pressure, the more the desire, the more the thought disturbance, the more extrovertedness will be there. That person, even if one tries to sit and do basic upasana, japa, will find it difficult. Depends on the vasana pressure. The more the vasanas, more desires, more thoughts, more extrovertedness. So more action one has to do. So then better to practice karma yoga. Serve the Lord with sincere devotion, that I am doing all my seva, my work towards my family, towards the society, towards this, the company, wherever I am working, or whatever work I am doing, I do it to please Bhagwan. Ishvara arpitam nechaya kritam. When one does that over a certain number of years, certain number of time, then mind has become purified, bhakti has come, upasana will become more steady. One does the japa, one remembers the Lord, one does puja, whatever form of upasana one wants to take up. Then the mind becomes quieter. So vasana kshaya, how to do? Vasana kshaya can happen through karma yoga, first level, the rajasic vasanas which one has. So tamasic vasanas will go by rajasic vasanas. If I am lazy, lethargic, indulgent, careless, procrastinating, tamoguna is there, then I have to come to rajoguna. I must have ambition, I must have a goal, I must achieve, I must prove my worth. So from tamas one comes to rajas. Give up through this. So ambition has a role, goal has a role in life, achieving certain prosperity, wealth, all that has a role in life. So all that one has to do. When one is doing that, then one will see the stress, worry, tension, anxiety, all that. Then shift that purpose to service. I am doing to serve the Lord. I am doing it to please, to benefit other people. I am doing it for the society, for the country. Then that same karma will become sattvic karma. Though externally my rajoguna is getting exhausted through the action, the sattvicness will come because the bhav has changed. From sakama, it has become nishkama. And that's why that vasananam kshayaschataha, that third line, is actually the whole spiritual path. From tamas to rajas, in rajas, then how to shift to sattva. And one who has come to the sattvic state, has got this knowledge then from the teacher, that person through nididhyasan will destroy the vasanas, which is dehatma vasanas. So vasanas also are of different levels. Certain are Vishaya vasanas, which are meant for, which are for sense objects, for people, for money, for power, all that. So then certain vasanas are what even here in Vivek Chudamani Shankaracharya says. So Dehavasana, Lokavasana, Shastravasana. So Dehavasana is for the body. I am this body, and beautify the body and make it decorated and apply makeup and whatever I do for as a duty I do, as a necessity I do, nothing wrong. But sometimes one feels I am this. And so even a little comment by somebody, I think you have put on more weight now, one feels so hurt. Contrary also happens. One has worked so hard and one has lost the weight and nobody said anything that, you look more healthier now, you look so much trimmer, I think you have lost weight. Nobody said, what is this? No one feels bad. That is body. But one has identified with it. So Dehavasana is whatever I do with the objects for the purpose of satisfying this body. So with the objects, people, things, I want to enjoy. With the notion I am this, Dehavasana. Then there is Lokavasana. So in the world I should be popular, or my children should do this great thing, through that I feel very happy, or I must be, I donate XYZ amount somewhere and people should know, okay, this person is so charitable and all that. So Dehavasana, Lokavasana. Then Shastravasana also is there. I'm so qualified, I've studied so many books, I can argue and I can defeat you and there is nobody like me and all that. Or one goes very deep into intellectual study and scholarliness and minute hair-splitting arguments, but not enough sadhana to practice. No time. Full time only in dry intellectualism. Shabdajalam Maharanyam Chitta Brahmana Karanam, he says in this. So all that is Shastravasana there. One crosses all these through appropriate steps. Karma Yoga, Upasana, reflection intensely, then seeking the Guru. All this when one does, then one comes to Nididhyasan finally. In Nididhyasan, there will be also the Vasana which will be there. But this Vasana which will be there in Nididhyasan, Sattvic Vasana makes us do Nididhyasan, but some Rajasic, Tamasic will be there. So now and then the mind will go out. Compared to earlier, with before all this purification process, that time mind would have been very, very wild. Now it has become much, much, much lesser, but it is still there. And that's why in the Gita Bhagavan says, Yada Yada Pratyagavasthitam Manaha. Wherever the mind goes, bring it back, Pratyagavasthitam. There Gita, the shloka actually is Yada Yada Nischarati Manas Chanchalamasthidam Tatas Tato Niyam Yaitad Atmanyeva Vasham Nayet. Again and again when the mind goes out, Atmanyeva Vasham Nayet. This is what here he says, Swatmananda Sada Sthitva. Bring it back, I am Brahman. Don't rush into those thoughts or don't condemn yourself saying, why is the mind wandering right now? Even after so much of purification, it is still not steady. Don't bother at all. It is anyway Anatma Vastu. Come back to Atma. Asangoham, 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 Punah, Punaha. Shankaracharya said so beautifully in Brahma Jnanavali. Again and again reflect. Asangoham, Asangoham, Asangoham. Detached I am, detached I am, detached I am. Again and again. And that Punah Punah is like that Delhi Deep Nyaya. You can put that lamp in the threshold. That lamp will throw light both sides. Same way. Again and again detach and again assert. What? Satchidananda Rupoham Ahameva Aham Avyayaha. I am that Satchidananda Swarupa Brahman and I am imperishable. That alone I am. Again and again, Punah Punah. One has to go on doing that. That is Swatmananda Sadasthitva. Then Mano Nashyati Yoginha. Mind will get destroyed, meaning the false notion will get destroyed. Vasananam Kshayaschataha. And this is how the Vasana, as the Vasana Kshaya happens, As through nididhyasana also, one drops the basic false notions and ignorance, mano nashyati, the mind will get destroyed. Even Ramana Maharshi said so beautifully about mano nasha. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvata aipatatyaham nija vicharanam patati. His mind will get, it will just drop. It's a false construct that has been created. It will just disappear. Then what one realizes, I was, I am, I always will be Brahman, I was never bound. That is jivanmukta, where in Vedanta we say bondage never existed. It is not that bondage is real and now through process we have come to understand attain mukti. Vedanta says you are nitya shuddha buddha mukta swarupa atma. Always. One who is lying on the bed is a waker. And the waker is going on dreaming. At one point the dream will end. Then the waker realizes, what? That I was never the dream character, the dream world, everything was mithya. I was, I am, I will always be the waker. Same, one realizes. Sva-adhyaasa Apanayam Kuru. Through steady nididhyasana, detached from the BMI, attached to the truth, and through that, destroy the superimposition, come to awaken in the true nature of the self. That's what Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, and this beautiful composition, Vivek Chudamani, how to do this in the first shloka when he has said, the basic essence he has given. Now how to do this, what is Swatmananda Sadastitva, how to do this, how to do Vasanakshaya, etc. All that he tells in the next 9 verses. So if you like, you can definitely study the whole Vivek Chudamani step by step from verse 1 onwards. Or if you want specifically, you already have a certain basic Vedantic background, then take this verse number 277 up to 286, beautiful 10 verses on destroying one's superimposition. So we invoke Bhagavan's grace and the blessings of the entire Guru Parampara, that may all of us be able to walk this path of Vedanta. We feel grateful to the Guru Parampara that we have this blessing and that they have brought this knowledge into our lives. May we do sadhana, be worthy of their grace and blessings, and through that we destroy our superimposition and we come to wake up in our true nature, realize the truth, fulfill our life, and that is the best Guru Dakshina we offer to all the Gurus and the entire Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Thank you.
Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Satyam Jnanamanantam Chidananda Ekameva Dvitiya Brahma by mistake appears as Brahmajanya Jiva Jagat Vedatmaka Jiva Jagat Jagadishwar manifestations. So how to get rid of this error? It is a cognitive error. So cognitive error is called as adhyasa. Anishchita yatharajju andhakare vikalpitaha. The travel from this to nishchitayam yatharajvam vikalpo nivartate. This adhyasa is nirastavyaha. Acharya says that this adhyasa, I am adhyasaha nirastavyaha. Guruji, thank you very much. You explained this adhyas and the nirastavya characteristics of this adhyas and the method by which we can go through this process from Anishchita Yatharajju to Nishchitayam Yatharajvam. This is fantastic guidance from you. Thank you very much. I will invoke Shanti Part once again and give the evening session details and close this session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. We have a very interesting session in the evening. Please join evening session.